Jit. Oh, Jit. What is going on, chat? Hello, welcome back to another episode of where I can't get my mic where I want it. Welcome back to Therapy Thursday. I'm Kilted Pork. Hello. Welcome to anybody that's new or returning. Welcome back. Just a bit about what today's all about. I sit here and play Fall Guys with my sister Asteria, who is a licensed therapist, and we basically sit here and talk about mental health stuff, just whatever's going on. It's kind of our own little therapy session between the two of us. But the main thing is for you, chat, for everybody that's sitting here watching, if you have any mental health questions, feel free to type them into chat and we will discuss them, and then hopefully we can help you feel better. So that being said, let's see if we can get Asteria in here, and I'll let her go over all of her like qualifications and whatnot. Hello, is she here?
I'm back and better than ever.
Oh geez. Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Say hello to chat.
Hello, chat. It's me, Asteria, and I'm fucking tired.
He's tired. That's always a good sign. One of those days, I suppose, huh?
Oh, man. Oh, man. I'm gonna tell y'all, this is called a warning.
A warning, huh?
I'm on a good one.
Did you see your therapist today?
No, my therapist is on vacation. God bless. So I am completely unhinged and raw dogging my mental health.
That's a good way of putting it. Just really quick, let's put up the disclaimer. Please let everybody know who you are, what your qualifications are, and the disclaimers for being on chat.
Okay. So because of the nature of what we're talking about, I'm going to identify that I am an associate marriage and family therapist, and I work under the state of California, and I, in being an associate marriage and family therapist, that means I have the ability to work with by individuals, couples, families, and various other dynamics of that. My background is trauma. And I'm trained in EMDR, which is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, which is a very intense, or it can be an intense form of trauma therapy. And I'm here to support with common questions and common inquiries. I will not be doing any diagnosing. No, so I cannot tell you if your like mother-in-law is narcissistic. Let's just assume that they are.
Assumptions.
And if you're joining today, I'm particularly spicy, so let's just already get over the first question of yes. It's a part of it is your parents' fault, and let me tell you why. Okay.
And that's basically the gist of what this is all about. It's your parents' fault, but why?
Yeah. Well, why?
So there you go. So yeah, that pretty much nails it. If you got any questions about maybe any relationship stuff you're going through, or why you just feel like doo-doos today, or why you're feeling extra happy today and you don't know why, just anything, just throw it up in chat and we will break it down to the best of legal abilities will allow us.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody cares about my background, I design foundations for homes, and I'm trying to become an aerospace engineer, so I have nothing on this.
Oh, man.
I'm just educated in other things.
He's like, I know things too.
I know stuff. Okay, there's a few things I wanted to go over today. Did you have any specific topic?
No, I don't. Like I said, I'm pretty unhinged, so I'm ready for like anything.
Anything, huh? Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? Do you want to talk about, just right out of the gate, because it's in the news, did you hear what happened to the submersible?
Yeah. I heard about that.
Yeah, that thing did the big old implode. So they're gone, unfortunately.
Rest in peace.
I don't know. Due to my trauma, it doesn't bother me at all.
Very, very insightful of you. I am also desensitized to shit like this.
Yes.
I am, and doesn't it concern you at least sometimes? Like, you've experienced so many traumatic historical events since being alive that shit like this is just another Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, it's concerning not only in just basically what's happening in the world and what's happening like within our country specifically, but also within my own life. Like just the crap that we've gone through. It's just I look at it and I go, yeah, and I mean, you know, when Granny died, you know,
Rest in peace.
yeah, I was just sitting there and, you know, as you've heard the story, I was in the car. We were on our way to drive up there because, you know, I got the call like, hey, bud, this is it. And I didn't even get to the freeway. And then I got another call and you know, I think his uncle called and he said, you know, she's gone. I just turned around. I was like, huh. Dropped everybody back off, dropped the car back off to my mother. And then I was like, well, that's the end of that story. And that was it. And that's pretty much how I grieved. I was just like, it's over. I walked off. Probably not healthy.
I mean, it's a way.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Like, I just kind of look at it like, well, she was old.
I mean, I want to give a little context to our great-grandmother, because if you heard from us before, also welcome back. But we talk about our great-grandmother quite a bit, and so here's a little context. So she was literally older than sliced bread.
Yes. Literally.
So like the best thing since sliced bread. I'm like, the best thing since Granny. So she was born during the Great Depression. She died when she was 95. And she retired when she was 88.
Wow, did you? What? I didn't know that part.
Yeah. And the only reason why she retired had nothing to do with her age and all, because she almost got cancer, but ended up not. Like, they got it just in time. However, the whole hospitalization of that slowed her down so much her age caught up with her.
Yeah, not great.
No. But kind of goes to show you that the reason why some of these folks in the family be living so long, because they just be working.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of see that anywhere. It's usually like people will keep going and going and going until they basically lose the drive to stay alive, you know?
Yeah, and then they just kind of accept it.
Yeah, I mean, for some people it's work, to other people it's like significant others. You know, you hear a lot of people, they're like, oh, everything was good, and then, you know, grandma died, and then grandpa's just like, fuck it, I'm done. And then he died a few months later.
That's what happened to our grandfather, but our father's father.
Yeah, I don't even remember that guy. I might have met him once or twice. You never met him? Yeah.
I just had a bunch of stories about him. It was interesting. But I already had insert our father's name that happened to be that guy's name too.
That's his name too.
Unfortunately.
And whenever he'd go out, the police would always shout, put your hands up, get on the ground. Da, 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 da.
That's bad.
John Jacob Hammerschmidt. That's unfortunate. I'm glad we didn't get that. Was he really?
No.
Oh, no, he's smoking the meth.
No.
So yeah, I mean, just the whole grieving process, like it just never really happened. I guess I don't know. I just don't know how to compartmentalize it.
So, I also work with grief and with grief and loss.
Mm-hmm.
And and there's this type of grief and loss that's called disenfranchised grief, and it's the title you give to the grief you still experience after what society says is the appropriate time to grieve. Because ultimately we all do that. Everybody grieves for the rest of their lives. It just lives differently and looks differently.
Right.
So Granny, so yeah, do you want to talk about your experience at a Burning Man though?
I mean, sure. I mean, that's probably no. I mean, it's fine. I'm just trying to figure out what part of it I want to talk about specifically. Like, cause I went out there and the whole thing. One of the things that they do out there, for anybody who's not aware of the Burning Man social experiment or whatever you want to call it. That's essentially what it is. But they have a temple that they build out there every year. And it's very elaborate, very cool looking. And so it's out there during the whole festival. You get to go out there and like go check it out. But there's a lot of mourning that goes on in the temple. Like you walk through, people write all over the walls. They leave pictures, little like trinkets, just like whatever, and you can read other people's stories, and it's quite the experience, even if you're not reading it. You like, because when I went out there, I told you I'd met somebody that was camping with us, and her and I were like, hey, let's go over to the temple. So we went in there and we're having a good time, whatever, just riding around doing whatever, and then we go over there, and as soon as you walk in, you can just feel it. It is fucking heavy in there. It's super quiet, no one's really talking, and like you just walk in, like you just feel it. You're like, god damn, what is happening here? Like you don't even have to read anything, you can just sense it, which is, it kind of like leads me, I mean, I'm sure everybody's experiencing a way when you're like, oh, people's energies or whatever, this and that. I mean, it's the same thing. If you go to like a music festival, you're more willing to dance when you're around other people. They're putting off that energy. Or when you go to a comedy club and other people are laughing their ass off. It's like, you can watch a comedian that you might not normally laugh out loud at. You're like, okay, that's funny, but like I've seen them on YouTube, whatever. But then when you see that person live, you'll be like, shitting your pants. Yeah, it's like, oh my god, this is great, because you're around, it's the energy around you. So same thing. And so what I did was I was like, all right, I'm just going to write a message to her, and let's say this whole spiritual whatnot is a thing, I don't know, I'm just going to play along. And I said that to her.
Yeah, she'd probably laugh.
Yeah, so I just wrote a small message, and I got a Sharpie, just wrote it on the wall, and I was just like, I'm sorry, Grandma, that you never got to experience a place like this in your life. Hopefully this gets to you, kind of deal. And I just like wrote it on there, and like I kind of like, that was like the most like I ever felt, like some sort of like weight on myself from her passing. And then when they burned down the temple at the end of the week, you just kind of like, everyone's just dead silent. You have like what, 500,000 people or some shit. I don't know what the numbers are, I don't remember, but just a shit ton of people just sitting there watching this thing burn. When you have like 500,000 people sitting there dead silent as this thing burns, it's like you feel something. You're like, oh my god, just like all the weight and pressure, like people like getting rid of like thoughts or memories or whatever, so that was like the only time I kind of like felt anything about it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like that is also, or that can also be identified as like a form of like mourning and experiencing that grief.
Mm-hmm.
Well, me on the other hand, I took that pretty hard. And it's not because I didn't accept that it was her time to go. She was fucking 95 years old.
Not living a great life, to be honest.
And living a life that just downright like breaks my heart to think about as like her final time. But whatever.
Yeah.
That's her choice, and like that's not mine to have to hold on to and keep.
Yeah, I mean, it was her choice to just sit there every day. I mean, it's not like she was in bad health. She just stared at the fucking wall all day.
Yeah, oh my, oh wow. Okay. Over in fourth, Jesus.
We do goo.
We do goo. Hopefully no one else does gooer. Did we do goo?
What?
We did.
No goo
We
enough.
did poo. We did poo.
By the way, FYI for anybody in chat, mostly the men, if you goo into the same rag long enough, it's going to put holes in it. So be careful.
Oh my lord. Anyway, so back to our grandmother. Okay. Anyway, so, oh my god. So anyway, it hit me a bit harder. Because I was there helping her in the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I also took care of her when she started getting older, and if you know our father, he didn't do well with all that, because dealing with emotions, what's that? Pass the meth. He didn't do so hot. My mom was like, would respond to it because she was very like sick and wrapped up in all of it too, and I was a child, so at the time, and high school was significantly hard. Oh my god, school was just hard. Like, that's like, shout out to my best friend for fucking being a real one and helping me during those times. Like, sorry for the trauma. But anyway, I took care of her, and I started being around her when she was starting to go, and it was too hard, where the day that she passed away was also a Scorpions concert. And my mom told me, and she was like, you should just go to the concert. Granny would want you to go to the concert, so I did.
And she would have.
Yeah, she wouldn't have wanted me to like be there and crying and sad, because she wanted me to be happy and all that. And so I went, and while I was there, they played like her favorite song by them, and for some reason, like in the moment of like me listening to it, I just had this moment, because I wasn't like paying attention to my phone. I was like at a concert, you know?
Right.
So I wasn't getting the updates about when she passed, but like in that moment the song was playing, I was like, I just felt that I was like, oh, she's not here anymore.
Oop.
And I checked my phone, and my aunt messages me, of all fucking people, as the first person that says, I'm sorry for your loss. And it didn't hit me at first. It really didn't. I even like fucking went and got like in and out after the concert, and I was like looking at my my emails to school, because I was in my grad program. I was in my first year of grad program. Oh my god. Anyway, and I started talking out loud, and I was like, dang, I really got to send out these emails to my professors to be mindful and give like for some patience, because of like losing her. And right when I said that, I like fell apart.
Oh, no.
I started crying in and out. And it hurt. It was so heavy in my stomach and my chest, and it really sucked, because my mom was trying to be there for me, and yeah, she got it because she helped take care of her in the end too. But I hated like talking to her about it, because then she would mention our dad, and I was like, I really actually don't want to fucking hear about him, surprisingly. Like,
surprisingly.
So, I couldn't think of like more of a sarcastic way to say that statement. I was like, oh my fucking god. I don't know how y'all do not understand what I'm trying to put down. However, I know what I do for a living, and it's not that surprising how much people are not aware. Anyway, so I was trying to talk to the elder one, and which is our older brother, and again he tried to use the approach of like you know how old she was, now she's not suffering anymore, she gets to, now she couldn't be with all of us at once, and now she gets to be with all of us at the same time.
Right.
And that piece at the end, that helped, but everything else I was like it still hurts.
Right.
It's still heavy. Like the things I was holding on to was like things that I can't physically like hold, and so it's like hard because like I feel like those are the most things that like kept her alive for me, with me. And it was like the way that she laughed when you told the joke, and she just was like laughing because she doesn't know what was going on. She was doing her own, like she was in her own world, and she's like and like memories of her and stuff like that, you know. And it was really hard. I didn't know how to, like, I was like, how the hell am I gonna like, and the partner that I had at the time was awful at supporting me through that, because they, but again, it's not their fault, like I understand and all that, but
Right.
but then my roommate at the time also lost their grandmother like the year prior, and their nickname was also Granny. And she told me something that helped me the most out of everything. And she said, hey, like, I'm not gonna tell you to get over, like, I hope that you get over losing someone, because how the fuck do you get over losing someone
Right.
that you loved? And I was like, yeah, I hear you in that. And she's like, but I'm gonna tell you what helps me. And she said, the thing is that she's, you know, my grandmother's dead, and but now she gets to be with me in a relationship that is a space within me, or like her, you know,
Yeah.
that only I have access to, and therefore that's something nobody can take away. And I don't know why that was so comforting to me at the time. I was like, you're right, like I could still like talk to her in like myself, you know, and
Yeah.
like she could see me and be a part of it all. And then I was going to a private specific, you know, organized religion affiliate school, because there's a private school and they could do that.
Mm-hmm.
And during times where they would like start classes like with prayer, because I'm not religious, I would just have these mental letters I'd send off to Granny, and I'd just be like, dear Granny. And I was like, today I'm like in my class and I'm doing this, blah blah blah. And like, oh, I can't wait to like talk to you later. And um and then she started showing up in my dreams, right?
Oh man.
And when that happened, now, like, because of like my beliefs are like, I always believe, like, I believe in energy,
Mm-hmm.
and not in the, oh, never mind, before I get fucking, never mind, before the fucking people come after you, I'm not gonna say it, but I'm saying in the way that like I believe that like of like the whole physics of it all, and that we are like this energy that's been put together in galactic dust and all that. So I do believe that she in herself is like a part of something bigger now. So she's like I'm not going to question how things are,
Mm-hmm.
and all that, but that helped me get through it. And like I still have a special space for her, and like it's so interesting the things I dream about too. I've always had an interesting imagination, and dream history, because then all of a sudden when I got with my now partner, I had a dinner with her and my grandma, which is my mom's mom, because she passed away when I was 11. And that we were all having lunch with my now partner, and they basically were giving me like the stamp of approval on him, and I was like, oh my god, what the and that was just mean to me.
Goodbye.
And yeah, sorry, I forgot we're still playing video games. I mean, I think I was doing well up until that point.
I'm still up here, so we should finish probably first place if I don't die.
Oh, fine. So so yeah, that's how. Oh my gosh, and that's how I got. I got through that, and now there's like songs that I have dedicated to her, and I hear sometimes, and sometimes I just like I'm like happy, sometimes I cry. I always drink a cup of like the first thing I do on January 1st because that was her birthday, and on January 1st is her birthday, and so I always start my day with like drinking a coffee and just like listening to a song that she loved, or like talking about memories of why I loved her, or I missed her, and that's how she stays alive now for me, in a part of my life, and I guess today's stream is about grief.
at the moment. But that brings up another topic, because there's a certain someone I know, what we know, that they lost their father, and I know that it's still weighing very heavily on them.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know how long ago this happened, but
Get that one.
it's like it wasn't like horribly long ago, but it wasn't like horribly recent either. You know what I mean? So I just like, if I were to talk to this person about it, because I know that they still, you know, struggle with it, like I just don't know how I would go about, you know, maybe helping them feel better, or, you know, because obviously they all have to grieve in their own way, but it's like, how does one help someone they care about, you know, with something like that?
During these times. I think one of the things that helps is just holding space. It can go such a long way. I think, like, if they ever have, like, those moments or they think about them, you could always, like, hey, can you tell me about, like, more about, like, one of your favorite memories? Or, like, can you tell me a little bit more of, like, what's coming up for you now? And you don't have to, like, try to, like, help them, like, look on the positive side of anything. You could just say, like, hey, I hear you. Like, and I'm sorry. Like, that's so heavy, you know? And it is, like, grief is heavy. So that's always helpful. And if you don't know how to help, you could just say, hey, I just want to sit here and listen. Like, and I think that gives people the space for them to feel like they can talk about it. Yeah.
See, I see that, and that makes sense to me. But I also know that said person has a hard time opening up about things, because they were kind of raised to, you know, kind of like us, keep it to yourself kind of deal. So, not great. Man, first place again.
Which is such a toxic mentality. There's, I call it the generational trauma of the belief, what I like to call, don't let the neighbors know. That's because that's how it was told to me, which is the other side of granny. So I want everyone to know, no saints exist, but every saint has a past, you know? So every sinner has a future. So, sorry, I got the game started and my whole thought process stopped. What were we talking about?
ADHD.
Oh, to the max. I am on a good one today.
Shit, what were we talking about? Basically, someone like not being able to open up due to how they were raised. Like,
yeah. So that the whole like don't let the neighbors know mentality. Yeah, it's really toxic of a mentality, and ultimately the best way that you can go ahead and like be there for someone like that.
Yeah.
Oopsie doopsie.
Watch out for Golden Fingers. He's a pain in the ass.
I'm gonna make this all awful for all of you then.
Perfect.
So freaking oh man, I'm gonna be such a dick.
Be dick.
Be a dick.
So, but yeah, because they had that whole traumatic crap either with their parents or I don't know what the cause. Like, as I know that they've been hurt not just by parents but other people.
So you could just offer it, and if they say no, you just like give them space. Like,
right.
The thing is that like there's this book I read, and it talks about and. The book is, so I'm gonna plug this book real quick. It's called Adult Children of Emotionally Emotionally Immature Parents.
Mm-hmm.
Can be very like hard and heavy for some folks, so just be mindful. So anyway, long story short is that they talk about how there's internalizers and externalizers when it comes to processing, right?
Right.
And it's like the space that you use in order to process your feelings. Well, the thing is that when you get the mentality of don't let the neighbors know, then you may risk becoming an internalizer. And so it's literally like basically asking for you to like build the Empire State Building with like toothpicks when you ask them to like sit with their emotions. Like, you're basically telling them, especially if they were like their weapons were weaponized in their trauma, for example,
right.
is saying it in a place for you a lot and learn to be okay with it. And it's like, yeah, except at one point they thought that was gonna kill them, so don't do that.
What? Oh fuck, sorry, got a bad jump. Fuck, I was doing good. All right, so yeah, I'll just make sure to give them space, you know, just offer the ear, let them discuss.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, I mean, just like one of the last times I'd spoken to them, just about stuff, I was like, you know, how you feeling about this? And they're like, I just don't want to talk about it. I was like, okay. And but then I kind of like dug a little bit more. I was like, you know, because it wasn't about that topic, it was some other stuff. I was like, you know, why do you fear, or maybe not, it's not the exact wording I use, it's like, what do you think would happen if you told me? Like, what's, you know, like, because you obviously don't want to show this because you feel this way. I was like, what negative impact do you think will come from this? And like, I respect if you feel that way. I'm just curious, like, you know. And I just, you know, they didn't really, like, I gathered my own information based off of it, and I think it tracks well, but I don't have like a definitive answer. It's like, based off the evidence I was given, here's my assumption. It's not a foolproof, you know. God damn it, I lost my train of thought. How I was going to say, you know, it's like, I can't guarantee that's the, you know, what we're, God damn it. I'm testing something. I think this is what it's going to end up doing, but I don't know if that's going to be the actual answer, for the lack of a better way of explaining it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm going to grab me a beverage.
Living is exhausting.
It is.
Though I'm loving it now more than I probably ever have. Which is wild.
I wish I could say the same.
Yeah. But I'm doing a lot of work to make that happen.
It is not easy.
It's not.
Like, I feel like I'm putting in work, but it's just... honestly, I feel like... because I guess this will be a good segue into the next part. I feel like the more I work on it... Like, honestly, somehow, maybe it's just the process, but the worse I feel. Mm-hmm. It kind of goes with anything, because, you know, I feel... that I've been working a lot on myself over years, you know, not only with like getting in shape, and like now I'm trying to, you know, well, I've built a career already. I've own my own place. I live in a nice area of the country. I don't like what I do, but I've done all this work to build what I have physically, mentally, financially, and it's gotten to a point, essentially kind of on all those fronts, that no matter how hard I work, I'm not seeing a result or the results I want.
Oh, but that could be in multiple ways. Like, that could be for multiple reasons.
I think on the physical side of things, there's I know there's limitations. Age is becoming more and more of a factor.
Yeah.
I'm not pushing. What?
Talk about it.
And well, as you get older, you just can't do the same shit that you used to be able to when you're younger. Like, I can't stay up, till 4 a.m. drinking and expect to be at work by 8.
Bro, those were different times.
Yeah, those are different times. But there's like that, and then I know that to push myself to still be, me, that I want to eventually complete an Ironman race, a full Ironman race, and that is not an easy task. And the older I get, the longer I wait to if I can finally do it, the harder it's going to be to keep my body in shape enough to do it. So it's just like those, I'm just having to put in extra work to get the job done.
I hear you.
So like me wanting to make more money and like actually enjoy life, not just live paycheck to paycheck kind of deal. I'm not paycheck to paycheck as most people would think about it, but it's just, I can't do what I want when I want kind of deal. I still have to plan it out pretty far ahead.
Yeah.
Same with that kind of goes into the fitness thing also. It's like, all right, I want to eat this delicious food, but I also don't want to get fat. Did we make it somehow? Holy shit.
Yeah, and it's so good.
So, just this week, I was like, okay, I'm trying to hit a fitness thing by the end of the month. And I was like, all right, so how can I do this? So I basically said, all right, I want to have a junk meal, for a cheat meal kind of thing. But I had to plan it out 4 days in advance. So I had to make sure I cut down on my eating those days beforehand. And, it's just it's so much planning just to get to something that I want. Same with financially. It's I'm going to be going back to EDC next year. It's like, okay, I just dumped a fuck ton of money on that damn ticket. Now I'm trying to recoup. And also with Comic-Con coming up, I have to go, okay, how am I going to have my finances ready to go? And that's still a month out. And I'm already like, okay, what do I have to do just to have money to get the shit that I want that I'm there? It's not like I want a bunch of crap either. It's just a few things I'm looking for. And not all of them are, well, some of them might be expensive, but I don't know. It just depends on what it is.
Oh, son of a bitch. Yeah, that's true.
So,
you mean
yeah, so it's just in with but the kind of going back to my base point, even with I can just be honest, it comes down to the whole me not having a relationship kind of deal. That's the big one. It's all right, I put in all this effort, god damn it, you fucking chode ass bumping into me. And so it's working on myself mentally to be more mentally stable, working on becoming more financially stable, with going to school and everything, and then trying to keep myself physically in order. And it's just I feel like there's the payoff is just not there. It's not getting any easier. It's I feel honestly things have gotten harder for some reason. And it's just frustrating. It's just all right, how much am I going to work on this to have no fucking results?
Oh my god.
Just in the last 10 years, you can look at me 10 years ago, look at me now. You'd be like, holy shit, you became a fucking multidisciplined athlete. You freaking built a career, bought up your own place on your own, not living with anybody in this part of the fucking country. Holy shit. And then now you're returning to school to become an aerospace engineer, and you've been working on your mental health so you can actually have a personality and are able to listen to the other person more and understand them. And it's And people still look at that and go, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, because there's also one other piece.
What is the other piece of this goddamn key so I can unlock the fucking door?
You entertain and hang out in dynamics that hurt you more than they benefit you and uplift you. And every time that you do that, like, it's where all the progress that you made takes steps back, and then you make step forward, and you exceed what you or where you were even before the step back. But because of that, in the long run of it all, mental health, it's taking a little bit longer. So one of the things, that's why I always encourage you, asking like people that hurt you, it's like, do they benefit you? And if not, why do you keep allowing yourself to get hurt?
I have an answer because there's multiple people we can kind of like throw this out to. It's because...
Oh my god, I was right for a while.
What, do what?
I was right for a while. I was just raw dogging it, and I got like quarter of the way through.
Yeah. So it...
Oh, I hate you bitches.
Whoa. I'm just going to kind of stay with the crowd. I'm just going to let them bumper bowl their way through here. Oh, man, nice move. Alright, they're all going that way now. But, you know, it's... You can call it desperation. Or just...
Oh, push me.
It's like...
No, push me.
You know, hanging out with certain people or, you know, talking to them, certain people. I think, like, the big thing that really ruined my progress, honestly, it comes down to the pandemic.
No,
what the fuck was that?
What the hell was that?
Did you just slippy slide sideways for no reason?
I guess so. It doesn't make any fucking sense because I was...
Oh my god, but you slippy slide back on. That was weird.
That's
yeah, we got it. I think that was just a connection issue. You had the butter feet.
That's what I was saying. I'm like, damn.
But, you know, with like the people I hang out with or whatever, it's just due to the pandemic. I mean, you in your field, I'm sure you fucking straight up noticed it front center. When the pandemic hit, everybody's brain went to shit. I mean, it's because the social aspect, you just, nobody talked to each other. And, you know, people like forgot how to interact with each other. And now people are just like staying away from other people. I feel like we're still in the, you know, the wake of that whole thing because it did more damage to this fucking country, or not just the country, but the world in general, then I think it, my personal opinion, it did more damage than it did good, isolating everybody like this. Oh, you bastard, you got that one. And so, I don't know, I'm just trying to figure out how do I recover from that, because even the people I used to hang out with, you know, I still see them from time to time, but like, even they're just not the same. They don't want to do the same things. They don't want to...
Oh, fuck.
They don't even want to socialize, you know, like, you know, the people I went to EDC with, like, we used to play video games online together, just on Discord, talking to each other.
Oh my gosh.
I'll get it.
You
go get something else. Oh, what the hell?
I know.
It's like, they don't even want to, like, they don't even really hang out on Discord anymore, like, even with each other. And it's like, what happened? What happened to the social aspect of it? And I mean, that I honestly believe, well, that's actually one of the main points of why I started streaming, was to interact with people even online if I don't get to see them face to face. And that's why I'm so like hell-bent on, I'm not trying to become a professional streamer, but I want to become a streamer that, you know, when I log in, there's people here.
Yeah.
Even if it's only like fucking, like, I don't know, 20 people, just people that are like there that I can chat with.
Yeah.
And
like, I mean, but remember, it's gonna take time. A lot of these people that are on the internet, they didn't just do it like even just because of the pandemic. Many of them have been doing this for years, you know?
Yeah, I understand that. And I understand the process. But I mean, just like when I'm doing, you know, the Zwift streams, and when like you, Lox, Eggy, And a few people come in. It's like, this is what I'm talking about. I'm still sitting here socializing, but I'm also like playing games and also getting exercise. That's a freaking win.
Yeah.
And so, but even with going to my run groups, even though I haven't been there for a while, and being in school, I mean, with the exception of, Aggie, it's just like nobody wants to communicate. Do we not make it? I thought we did. Guess not.
Oh, I thought we did too. Okay, never mind. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, so the whole social thing, it's hard. I have a hard time meeting people, and it's gotten to a point where I see myself shutting down around people because it's like at times I don't even want to interact with people because I'm just like, fuck, man, I don't know. I just don't have the energy for it. I don't want to deal with it. I don't know these people. And I don't want to go out of my way and talk to people just based off of my own trauma with society, where it's like, going out and talking to somebody has a high potential to lead into, like, I don't know, a bad situation happening for my mental state, Let's say I'm out somewhere, I go try to talk to a girl. Like, there's been times I've had where it's like, hey, how's it going? And then she happens to be with a dude that I didn't know was there, and, fucking trouble starts. Or, it's just like, I'm like, oh, how's it going? I just don't want to fucking talk to you. You're weird or whatever. And it's just like, all right, whatever. It's just the social side of getting shot down is not fun. I mean, you're on TikTok. You probably see people talk about it all the time. Like, guys are saying it like they just don't want to even fucking make the attempt anymore because of how shit goes. It's like, why put ourselves out there? Like, we just...
Oh, you should talk about that more. You should.
Like, what part?
Like, what it feels like to date as a guy or as a male presenting person or male identifying person.
I'm a guy, and so he, him, zippity zer. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it sucks because now, I mean, this is one thing. Honestly, I haven't been really on like the dating apps even for like the last like day or two. Especially with like Hinge, because you know how Hinge works. You can actually write each person. You can just go, oh, I like this statement or I like that picture and send it off. Or you can actually write something, comment on it like it's a regular social media app. And it's gotten to a point where I look at it. It's like, I don't want to put in the effort. Because at the beginning, it's like I'm spending like an hour or so every day thinking of something thoughtful about something they said and putting it out there, and it's just, you get nothing back.
Yeah.
It's like you're casting a fucking net. You see the fish, you're casting the fucking net out there, and you pull up the net, there's nothing in it. And so that crap happens a lot. Even when you talk to people in society, it's like you try to put up, be nice and upfront about things, and people just like shoot you down. It's not just women, it's fucking you're trying to make connections with anybody.
I know.
Like, like there's like even the guy I work out with, he's a nice guy and everything, but I have to hold my tongue a lot because I know how he thinks, and it's like the shit I find funny or interesting, he just doesn't give a shit. It's not his thing. He's got a whole different life. And it's like, even though I spend time around this person, and this is like the big depressive part because this happens a lot, I can talk to people, but I don't feel connected to fucking anybody. It's like, it's like talking to a freaking, like, someone it's like talking, no, I was gonna say like someone at the bank. You walk in, you're nice, how's it going, can I have my money, here's my card, I'd like you to make a deposit, all right, see you later. You can cordial. You're cordial, you freaking talk, you have basic conversations, but there's no like connection. It's like that person you can actually talk to. And so even though you're having communication with people, you might as well just freaking be talking to a fucking door.
Yeah, because you know what you're missing and all that, right?
What?
Vulnerability.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so guess what? You're not going deep, you're not going to obtain deep.
Well, I do go deep, and then when I go deep, talking to these people, they shut down, and they stop talking to me. Because then you have to write that whole...
sign of them and not you. Next.
Okay, but I mean, that's like one of the big things, and you can hear it all over the place. It's not, I mean, people have admitted this. They're like, I don't want somebody, you know, that I know coming to me with this stuff, because then, like, they'll just shut down and stop talking to you, period. Because, like, I don't want to hear your problems. You know, I don't want to hear what your feelings are.
Can't relate.
I don't know. It's just different. As being a guy, it's just like you hang out with guys that are like fucking man up and deal with it. You talk to women about this kind of shit, and they're like, "This guy's a pussy. I don't want to fucking be around him."
Now we're gonna get somewhere in this conversation. Not that we haven't gotten there, but we're gonna get somewhere deep.
Yeah, the whole manly thing in this fucking world.
You bet your sweet ass that's what we're talking about. Hello there. Are you someone that's been impacted by toxic masculinity? Of course you are, because you exist.
Because you exist.
So now, before you again come after me for whatever fucking goddamn reason, because I guess you have nothing better to do.
Chat's pretty mellow.
Oh.
Until we get more followers.
That there is also toxic femininity. So anyway, but one of the elements of toxic masculinity is the comments of man up and or be a man. That is some very toxic fucking statements. Because, and before you come after me and try to defend, and I mean you too, to YouTube, is the thing is that when you do that, you're having somebody fuse to an idea of what masculinity is supposed to look like. And anytime that people try to challenge that or engage in something outside of the box of the societal identification of masculinity, then people have like fucking identity crises, or they feel, attachment threats. And that's such a fucking societal way to engage in trauma, and y'all fucking play a part. And I'm saying that as someone that used to as well, who is actively trying to challenge that for myself.
Right.
So I can unlearn, you can unlearn too.
So this is just my thoughts on it. Like the whole masculinity, I mean, we now call it toxic masculinity. I think at a place and time it held an important role. Like when it's like, hey, I don't have time to cry about this because I need to feed the fucking family, and they're like 2 deer over that hill that I haven't seen. So like then, yes.
Survival is why. And that's what I'm saying, because masculinity still exists, but there is still like there can be forms of masculinity that do not mean that it's toxic masculinity, and I'll explain more in a second. So like in toxic masculinity, like it's however you express masculinity and identify it as so, first of all, because all of it's subjective, it's all societal, it's all made up, everything's made up. Woo-doo. So but what y'all get hung up on is needing to identify some shit.
Who's y'all?
Humans.
Okay. What, you not human? Jesus Christ.
No.
You fucking meatbags. Okay, go ahead.
And me. Like, and it's worse because I know so much about the brain and I still do it. That's how much we're not in control of all that. Because it's all fucking natural. Anyway, that these titles of toxic masculinity is like people project that you have to make it look like this way in order for it to be masculine. And so if somebody like that's masculine paints their nails, the whole fucking internet loses their mind. Oh, I have a great example.
Me.
TikTok. Yes.
Yep. First freaking thing, I make a TikTok, the very first comment is, bro, stop painting your nails.
And this dude only has his thumb painted.
Yep. And it's
like his thumb.
Yeah, it's only one now. The other one finally chipped all the way off.
Yeah, so you freaking had your thumb nail painted. Someone thought use a fucking breath. Where am I going?
Going off the edge, apparently.
Used energy, used precious time. I just thought of something funny. Don't let me forget that. that I thought of something funny. I'll remember the rest.
I'm not doing good. I'm not doing good.
And to say about your nail, and I'm just like, I think even said something under it.
You did say something to that person, and honestly, all the other comments after that guy were, well, actually, no, one guy was like, oh my god, that was a genius thing, like what I was doing in the video. But everybody else that commented was just railing on that guy, which I was surprised that the internet backed me up. I was like, oh my god, the internet can actually be nice. Holy shit. I'm just so used to it just being toxic, so I don't really pay attention. I put stuff out, people talk shit, I just don't read it. But
so this person says, bro, stop painting your nails. Then somebody's like, what's wrong with his nails? And they said, imagine caring about what other people do. And then I said men have been wearing nail polish since like 3200 before, like, whatever the not Christian form of that is.
Yeah, I forgot what that is called, but yeah, go ahead.
It's BCE. Definitely recommend on working on that trauma though. Keep wearing nail polish.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I'm just like, tell me you have trauma without telling me you have trauma. And I can tell you, I've become too much of a smart ass in the emphasis of I know too much now.
Yes.
Where people fucking, like, let me tell you, I've hit my trauma was, if I know too much, people can't hurt me because I know too much. And guess what? It worked. Ha! So
for the most part.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, for the most part. Hey, I'll take it compared to the common person who gets fucked up like daily. Fuck yeah, I'll take it. I get more freedom. Like freaking it's such a pain in the ass to know. It really is. I wish I could just raw dog or truly fully raw dog my mental health, but I can't because I know too much. So that's fun.
All right, so back onto the whole thing about toxic masculinity and femininity. I want to know what toxic femininity is. Yeah, that's a hard word to say.
Well, first of all, just because I do this with literally everyone in the goddamn world, when I say like that term, what do you think that looks like?
In my opinion, if just based off what I hear, is basically.
Oh my fuck! Did you see that?
I think honestly, it's just masculine, like toxic masculinity, just being reinforced from the other side of the coin.
Oh, that can be one side of it, yeah.
So that's what I was thinking. It's like, okay, because guys are like, man up, be this, blah 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 blah, and guys are like that, and it kind of takes me back to the thought. It's like back in ye old times, you had to be like that because you're fighting to fucking get by day to day, find food, build shelter. I don't have time to cry and talk about my fucking feelings because this is just the world. But now things have changed. But then on the other end of things, like I said, there's times like with the most current ex, the narcissist, whenever I would open up to her about anything, basically, just to be fucking crass about it, her pussy would dry up. It's just like they don't want to hear it. They don't want you to be vulnerable. It's like, fucking be a man. And so then that's why I personally believe that's why men are the way they are, because we no longer have to be like that to survive. Now we just have to be like that to fucking, goddamn, I got knocked out already. We have to be like that just to find companionship.
Yeah, but that depends on who you're talking to.
Okay, majority. Goodbye.
Oh, goddamn it, the band.
Yeah, we didn't do well on that one.
Okay.
I never seem to do good on that one. I always get fucked over.
Me too. Pretty quickly.
But it's like, honestly, if the for men, straight men anyway, if women didn't fucking play that card so much, I feel like men would be willing to change, because I think, I mean, you can just look at guys, like probably what 75% of what they do is to freaking find chicks, fancy car, fashion, like flashy clothes, peacocking. So they're going to do what needs to be done.
Believe and follow Andrew Tate for some reason.
Wait, what?
Nothing. Continue.
Believe and follow Andrew. Yeah, I don't know. That guy's fucking dumb as a stump, but whatever. I mean, he's got what every guy wants, but he's a fucking real dickbag about it.
Including being charged officially after all that nonsense. Not convicted yet, so don't come after me, fucking internet. But
he was on the Your Mom's House podcast, and I was just listening to him. I was like, this guy is a fucking chode stick stuck in the sand. But so I don't know anything behind that. I just heard him talk for an hour, and I was like, this is annoying.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, go ahead.
Fucking insane. Anyway, toxic masculinity.
And
toxic femininity.
Femininity.
Is that it also is the times where like people like women or like, you know, feminine people are like reinforcing those like those gender stereotypes.
Mm-hmm.
That is also toxic femininity. So if you do that, fuck you. Because I don't have to be put together here, because this is all the internet. Hello. So like, for instance, oh my god, I have a great example. One time, okay, keep in mind, I was younger and therefore it was obviously dumber.
Right.
But one time I was staying with our aunt,
Okay.
and our cousin was there, that is like not blood. Anyway,
The younger one?
The younger one.
Okay.
And also our aunt's like best friend's mom. Anyway, and they were putting together a bridal shower or something there, and I was taking chairs and I was taking them from inside and taking them outside, and I was doing it on my own, right? And fucking she's just like, you should put those down and wait till a man does that for you, or wait for the men to like open the door for you.
Who said that? The aunt or the friend's mom or whatever?
The friend's mom.
Okay.
And I said something that was stupid, to which I will redact at this time. But I fucking said something so snarky. So snarky, but it's to the point of like, basically, if I do that, I'll be like, or like, because she said about waiting for a man to do that, and I was like, then I'll be waiting all day. Like, I'll just do it myself.
Right. That's a very granny response.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I've been waiting all day.
And guess what? She retired at 88, so maybe she did something right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's what I'm saying, is like waiting for a man to do it for me. Like, I'm not helpless and weak. Like, I'm not dainty by any means, and fucking like, I'm the one that opens the pickle jar for like everyone, and a part of that has to do with, because I also overdid it in trying to be accepted as myself, so I like up the ante and being like engaging in masculine qualities.
Mm-hmm.
And to the point, like when I got to college, I started engaging more feminine qualities again, because I felt safe to do so and still be respected. But so now I kind of in this place between it all.
Right.
Like I can do what I identify as masculine, and I can do what I identify as feminine, and it's perfectly fine. And it's something that we've already been accepting. The second we use certain terms, people start losing their minds, which honestly, grow up. Like, I don't know how to tell you this, but you can ignore all you want, but this is the shift of times. And at one point, it's just going to be the norm. So
Mm-hmm.
either accept it or fucking bitch, but just beat bitch somewhere else. Anyway, so like you're causing a scene, and it's so anyway, um, and like some people like are sorry if you're here. But like somebody that we like definitely know that experiences the side effects of toxic femininity, and masculinity is the elder one.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Definitely.
what are some ways you could see the toxic masculinity in that?
He's got to be in charge of everything. What he says goes. No gays allowed in school or some shit. I don't know. He doesn't like the gays.
It doesn't like that. Yeah, that's man, that's always heartbreaking. To like, and I talk about that with my partner quite a bit. But anyway, so
Oh no.
it's not gonna go in the middle anymore. Um. So anyway, but it's other things like where he feels like this weight where um he has to have it all figured out because of like him being the eldest, and like he didn't have time to like disagree or like have disagreements and stuff like that. He always had to be agreeable because he was the eldest, and he was like he just had to accept being able or having to take on like parenting roles before you jump in, but just parenting roles.
Mm-hmm.
And like and you can hear the weight he holds, even if it's like and I'm saying this because I wish I could like talk to him more, but it's like it's also a sense of defense for him. Like this is a role he's been given for so long that like trying to talk about it might be like his system might feel threatened
Mm-hmm.
that you're trying to take away this role to which he helped like tied in worth into, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the same way as like when somebody like loses their job after like working somewhere for like 12 whatever amount of years, then or some just amount of time, then they're like outside of this job and they get like really depressed and stuff
Yeah.
because of that, you know what I'm saying? It's like it threatens like attachment, connection, you know, safety, all these things.
Yeah.
Like, and that's why I lean into like seeing that for him and then like try to show up and allow him to just like take on like that role sometimes because I want him to feel that important. Like, if he's going to lean into that and I don't get a say into that, I can at least support him by like showing up and just giving him that power sometimes.
Right.
And but again, I wish I could talk to him about that, but it's like sometimes when I talk about stuff like that, people are like, that's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, the way my brain thinks. I also am officially diagnosed ADHD, so this is fun.
So, well, kind of wrapping back around, I feel like we got off track with we were on the masculinity, femininity, toxicity.
Mm-hmm.
So, basically, you're saying, like, basically, how is that the feminine toxicity?
The feminine toxicity
There we go.
is that that was reinforced, where like he had to be the one to take care of like the women and having to like that's what I was mentioning him, but also the toxic femininity are the ones that are like, oh, like for instance, it's all like, why didn't you like pay for my dinner?
I've dealt with
Right?
that.
Oh, gosh, I don't know why I didn't start with this conversation with that because man, that's like a common topic that you and I talk offline about.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, but that's a form of toxic in my opinion.
I'm gonna bring that up if that happens again.
or wait, hold on, or it can be something that may not be toxic, but it's something that is currently being unlearned. And so I don't want to, just because we're changing of how we subjectively see femininity, that it doesn't necessarily have to be toxic. um like there's times where people are like, oh, that's trauma, and sometimes like having a stressful day is not a traumatizing, like there are things that trauma is, and there's things that trauma is not. And I feel like sometimes that's the same thing that we need to also talk about when we talk about masculinity and femininity. Like there's things that it is toxic, and things that it's not toxic. But again, that's subjective to each person. So it's like, it's just a category. It doesn't mean that you're wrong. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So what can be identified is like that whole point of like people, or the assumption of having their meals paid for, and it wasn't discussed as like a first date kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or something like that. That wasn't discussed. And we're trying to lean more into like clear communication, but we're also healing from the generational trauma of like talking about feelings.
Right.
And so we're trying to lean away from these toxic ways of expressing, you know, self and identity and gender. And wow, that was a great glitch.
That was weird.
And
that was horseshit.
Did you see that?
I did see that.
Oh my
that. Get wrecked.
fucking hate it here, dude. Fucking pissed off.
Oh my
Pissed off.
god.
Please, I'm just a wee lad.
Piss. Fucking piss.
I should have been done.
Hurry up, we're not doing good now.
Oh man.
Alright, I gotta make pee-pees, so I'll be right back.
Okay, we'll see what's my situation by the end. Oh my god. Fuck this, dude. Please. Comedy. Say fucking comedy. Okay, now it's time to talk about really important things, especially while he's gone. What is like the top tier, like the 5 top tier cakes that you could have in the world? And I'm asking this because I was out to dinner last night with my friends, and we were talking about how we would rank carrot cake. And I don't know about you, and hopefully you can hear me, to which I hope that you give me your insight when you come back. I think carrot cake is pretty fucking top tier. I love carrot cake. I do not care if you want to talk shit on it. Shit's fantastic.
Carrot cake is the shit.
You said carrot cake is the shit?
Yes.
Fucking yes. It is fucking amazing.
I like, honestly, it was my, well, just real quick, since we're on the cake tangent. Cake, like, carrot cake, like, I don't know why people don't like it, because it doesn't taste like carrots at all. I mean, it might have like a slight tinge to it, but like, it's like, it tastes like fucking cake, and it's delicious. It's kind of like, honestly, I look at carrot cake, I don't even consider it a cake. To me, it kind of falls along the lines like pumpkin bread, banana bread, zucchini bread. You can eat all that shit, and it all is just delicious. Because it's a fucking dessert.
Freaking correct.
Well, that's just my opinion. Alright, so where do we leave off with that whole toxic femininity? I don't know. So, let's see if I can wrap back around. I should have been writing my notes. because this all came down with like my whole point at the beginning was how men have to act a certain way in today's age just because, even though it's not required of them anymore, socially it is. You know, like physically it's not required to be toxic man brain anymore.
Yeah, but not necessarily. Like, for instance, oh my gosh. So, for instance, like, I'm gonna talk about my partner for a second.
Go ahead.
So, my partner and I have much more like fluidity in gender roles in our in our situation.
And also, I just want to point out that you are like younger than me, so it like I feel like you're more in you're closer to the inclusive generation. Like I'm like right in I feel like I'm in the gray area.
Yeah,
it's like where it was kind of changing, and half of us did, half of us didn't, you know.
Oh yeah, you want to hear some shit?
What's up?
So our eldest is a millennial.
So
you're a millennial.
Yes. Aren't you one also?
I am the last year of being a millennial. I am literally the last year. And so talk to like you, yes, you in between, but talk about being literally the youngest line of like this generation, like the millennial period of people, and like also too old for the one after.
Yeah, like with that whole thing with the millennial thing, I feel like the millennials had such a shit fucking generation change. I mean, because just from looking between you as the youngest and the eldest, you know, him being the way he is, you can see it throughout. He's like super toxic masculine. I'm like in that gray area where it's like I can see both sides of it, and I really am trying to better myself towards the not toxic side, but there are still traits that I'm working on, but I think I've gotten a lot of them handled. And then there's you, where you're just like full blast, like, yeah, fucking that stuff's stupid. And this is all within the same generation. So I feel like within the millennial generation, there was a fucking huge shift, and like we don't even get along with each other.
I know.
Like the Gen X or not Gen X. What's Gen X? Wait, who the fuck's out? Like who are the Zoomers? Like is that Gen like Z or some shit? I don't know. Anyway, the new kids.
Yeah, Gen Z.
Yeah, so you have like the boomers, and then you have the millennials, and then Gen Z or whatever. The boomers all kind of thought alike. Then the millennials are all over the fucking board, and then it seems like...
Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't we be? Do you know what happened?
The internet.
The unrestricted access to the most access of information like any generation's ever had access to.
Yes.
At the palm of their hands.
Yes. And then Gen Z, just that's standard for them, so they all kind of developed, pre-adapted to the situation given to them.
Yeah.
So we went through the big, like, honestly, as far as humanity goes, I think outside the Industrial Revolution, this is probably the biggest fucking change in humanity was the internet.
I know.
And that all kind of like happened, like the big change. Oh my god, you got fucking bony. You're getting really fucked these last couple of rounds.
Did you see this
nonsense?
Did. Like, I'm not even trying.
So maybe that's like another reason I'm having such a hard time specifically is because I'm at my age, I'm dealing with this shitbox system of fucking millennials, you know, the age, like the group where I'd be dating. So it goes from shit asses to fucking people that are kind of cool, but you can't tell which one's going to be which. It's, I mean, you really are freaking shooting in the dark with this.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know, I mean, it sucks, and like, I don't know, maybe that's just, unfortunately, knowing how my brain works, it's probably going to now take this in. Let's work on this now. My brain's probably going to take this in later because I know how it's, and I'm going to start thinking about it. I'm just going to be like, okay, well, I was freaking born in a shit situation. Not just my, like, parental trauma and all that crap, but with society going through its fucking woes. And I feel like naturally I'm at a disadvantage as a result of shit that's out of my hand. Like, I had no control over it. There's nothing I can do.
I hear you.
It's like I can't, because like I said, if you really want to wrap it back around, that's probably why I feel like no matter how much work I do on myself to, find what I'm looking for, it's just like I honestly, I feel like a puzzle piece that's just been put in the wrong fucking puzzle. Like, it's been put in the wrong box.
There's a song by Depeche Mode.
Oh God.
It's called Wrong, and it talks about this topic exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'll cry in the club. Oh my God, I didn't die and I made it. I want to keep running because life is hard. Life is soup and I am a fork.
Okay. We're in first place.
That's what I was trying. Sorry, that's what I was focusing on. I was like, no, I'm gonna actually fucking make it this time. Anyway, generational differences.
Yeah, I mean, because if you look at it with my previous two exes, though both being close to the same age, I don't relate to them. Probably because they're not millennials, and then obviously I can't date anybody that's not a millennial on the younger side because it's just fucking weird. Because of, I mean, the eldest. That's all I can say. You see what's happening there. I mean, but then I feel, as far as connections go, people around my age I can kind of get along with for the most part because, we all kind of had to deal with the same shit. And then I feel like I gravitate closer to the younger side of the millennials. Like, I get along with you well enough. There's Eggy. She's closer to your age. So, like, I get along with her well enough. Go the other way? Okay. And it's people like that I get along with, but also, like, I don't know. I just feel like no matter where I go, I'm out of place.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a bummer. I'm gonna fuck you over, bitch. Ow! She got it, you son of a bitch. I'm assuming it's a she, just because it's like a Hello Kitty outfit. Eat my ass. I'm a freaking millennial. I don't know gender roles. There we go. That's gonna be my excuse for everything. Why are you the way you are, millennial?
Oh my God, that reminds me of this show that's on Netflix. It's called Kim's Convenience. Or Convenient, whatever. And it's about this what specific, but anyway, he's of Asian descent, and he's running a fucking convenience store. And they tried to, but he works on like the gay side of town, or the the queer side of town, and he like, they're trying to ask if they could put a flyer for Pride in his window, and like he was trying to like tell them, why are they always so loud? Why can't they like be more quiet and like be more of a quiet gay, like Neil Patrick Harris or some shit? And then they try to accuse him that he was homophobic.
Right.
And so then he said no for the next week, 15% off if you're gay, of his convenience store, right?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, that one felt good.
And fucking and one of my favorite scenes in the show at the beginning so far is like how a drag queen went in there and they said like they're trying to ask Mr. Kim if it like they're trying to ask Mr. Kim like how much something was the cost of, and then Mr. Kim was trying to respond to the person and was like, yeah, it's this price, but it's like, but for this week, 15% off. And then he like stops and he says, he basically asks like, what are you, right?
Right.
And the drag queen responds with like, they're like, come again. And then they're like, oh, and then Mr. Kim is like, are you like are you transgender, or, and then what are you? And then the person says like, oh, I'm a drag queen. And then Mr. Kim's like, why do you do this? And the person explains, and then about how like it made them feel like more like themselves authentically.
Right.
And like, and Mr. Kim listens and just kind of nods his head in agreement, or in agreement to it. And then like they introduce themselves to each other, and then like the drag queen just like walks away and it's like, oh, I think maybe I'll go pick up some more things. And like they're just like being like nice to each other and cordial. And it was like this moment of like understanding, and I was like, dang, what a moment for Mr. Kim. And that's it.
What a nice story.
You're welcome. These are the things that make me go wee.
Wee.
Because honestly, I'm gonna say something controversial.
Wah.
Okay, cool. So here it is. Because ultimately I don't care. But at least I don't care, and I told you.
It's my channel. People can shove it if they don't like it. I'm weeding out the people that don't like listening to it, like my type of stuff.
Content.
Yeah.
Is this shit.
There's a type of community I want to build, so if they don't fit in, they can leave.
Fuck, wait. I just forgot what I was up to say.
Controversial. Drag queen. Mr. Kim.
Oh. That's it. I'm very happy that there's more things and like more types of people that are like added in shows and like are making shows and stuff like that. Because if I had to watch one more fucking Hallmark like fucking story of like people like these two as fucking like unreasonably rich for some fucking reason, people like falling in love with each other in the middle of some western hick town, and I'm done. Y'all suck at making the same fucking story over and over again.
That's why I stopped watching movies. It's all the same shit at this point.
It's exhausting and it's not cute, and let other people do stuff because they exist too. Cool, thank you. Anyway, so I'm very much liking the like differences in like media these days, but also I think the Writers Guild is still happening, or the writers strike is still happening. No,
I have no idea.
yeah, I think there's a writer's strike happening right now, which is wild because then it made me learn more about picket fences.
Picket fences.
Yeah.
What?
The picket fence.
Yeah, it's a fence.
Yeah.
Made out of wood.
But no, the striking.
I have no idea then. You've lost me. I'm like, picket fence. That's a fence.
Okay, hold on. Let me see. Oops, sorry. Shh.
Oh, I might have boned myself here.
Oh, okay, so it's called the act is called picketing.
Ah, what place did I come in? Fuck! I had to come second place for sure.
Damn. Oh dang, so super kawaii. So it says picketing is a form of protest to which people congregate outside a place of work or location where an event is taking place. often this is done in an attempt to dissuade others from going in. Also called crossing the picket line.
That's a picket
And-
line, not a picket fence.
Oh fuck, I meant a picket line.
Okay, I know what a picket line is. I was like, what the fuck? Like picket fence. That's a fence made out of like picket wood.
Sorry, it's fucking SpongeBob thing. Like, no, that's not a picket sign. It's a picket fence.
The reason they call it a picket sign and a picket line is because typically the piece of wood, at least from what I've gathered, that they use to put the sign on is from a picket fence. It's like the same type of wood.
Is it the step or like what is it called? Dismantling the establishment.
There you go.
Big words. That was the rest of my fucking brain cells for the day.
Don't overheat the brain cell.
Cooking it on both sides.
Jesus Christ.
It can also be done to. Okay, so like there's. Yeah. It says disruptive picketing covers a wide variety of pickets, and then it's like there's obstructive and stuff like that. But like there's something I was trying to read that was said like there's a legality to it all. So it says like something like if you cross a picket line. Oh, because it's like something that interferes with the freedom of assembly or something.
Okay.
I didn't know that it like there's a legal element to it all.
So
That's
is it
all
illegal to cross a picket line?
I don't know.
That's weird. Never heard of that one. Alright, well it seems like we lost track of that one. Yeah, I think we pretty much covered the whole generational thing and toxic masculinity and all that.
Yeah. I told you I was unhinged tonight.
Yeah. I have a few things I've written down that I kind of wanted to talk about. So after the whole Father's Day thing where we spent the day with the eldest, we can kind of break this down. I don't want to hang out with him anymore. Or the nephew. Like I'm after that situation, I'm fucking over it. It's just like, now you can start going into my whole brain and figure out why I'm thinking the way I am, but it's just the sheer lack of like knowledge and the sheer like rejection of all information brought into them that doesn't fit their narrative is out of control. Like, I mean, you saw how at, I guess lunch at that point, whatever the fuck time we actually got in there.
I know, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, that was annoying as shit. I was like, I got stuff to do today. And, like, nothing was planned for, like, 24 hours. But beyond that, I mean, obviously, you and I both noticed that, like, when he started going off on his fucking bullshit, you and I just started playing Candy Crush. While poor Artemis was sitting there like, this is entertaining, I'm gonna fuck with him, or whatever he does, I don't know.
That's exactly what happened.
And it like, that just gets my blood boiling.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I get entertained of hearing them talk.
Mm-hmm.
And I also get to like disengage, and that helps me recharge my battery.
Yeah, I tried to like tune it out entirely because all like you noticed he's saying X, Y, and Z. I'm saying no. Here's the evidence. Blah 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 blah, and he just shuts it all down. Him and the nephew, both of them, unfortunately, and it's
because that's his kid.
Yeah, the freaking apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Got it. But it's like I don't know how to deal with that kind of situation besides keep myself out of it.
Okay.
And I don't know if why am I thinking like this? Because it just, like I said, it gets under my skin. I'm just like, because the way my brain works is you have false information. You're basing everything that you are talking about off of basically from what I've researched, basically the way that conspiracy theories work is they thrive on lack of information. They're not based off of factual information, they're based off of lack of evidence. And so that's where they pull their points from. They're like, you say, I don't know, like, let's just say it's like, I don't know, like, fucking the universe is this big. They're like, well, there's no actual measurement saying that it is that big, blah, 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 so it can't be whatever. It's like, well, this is just based off of models and theories and a lot of fucking math and science that lead us to believe this. And then they'll come in and just go, well, that, like, science has been proven wrong. It's like, yes, it's the whole fucking point of it. That's like what they strive to do, is prove each other wrong so they can find better information. You just go, that's wrong, so it's all wrong. Everything's wrong. Anything they say is fucking wrong.
So I want to say I relate to this topic a lot because I have a relationship with, like, religion as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, and I'll say the reason why I'm saying this is why it's helped me be able to manage it as much as I can about being around people that are engaging in this behavior, and then I'll talk about the actual psychology of why they do it. Okay. So I want to lay that out in the case I forget, because I have the memory or the attention span odd sometimes. So thank you for your patience.
The attention span of a goldfish.
Yeah, for real. So
first place, bitches. All right, go ahead.
I gotta wait. So, when it comes to religion, I feel like that Stephen Hawking said it best when he said that religion was something to help make sense of things in a time where we didn't understand more. And as we've understood more, science has progressed more of, like, a bigger faith, because that's, like, as time will go, that's how, like, things will change and shift in, like, beliefs.
Yes.
But people still need to, like, believe in something. So people, like, believe in religion because that's what helped them. But you don't, like, it's dangerous to dictate decision making and laws and stuff like that based on that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not actually anything factual, as we've come to learn, and in that can do a lot of damage to certain people.
Right.
So when people talk to me about anything religious, I try to be mindful. Trust me when I say that. But if you keep trying to shove it down my throat, I very much get, like, very upset, because we're trying to bounce a bunch of people who have different faiths and beliefs and have the right to do so, but don't have the right to say that yours is right and mine's wrong.
Right.
No, wrong. No.
So,
yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, because, like, the guy I work out with, he goes to church and he believes all that stuff, but he doesn't force it on me. So I try to steer away from religious topics and, like, not expel or put out my theories and beliefs on how I think it's complete horseshit. Just because it's like, you know what, you got your thing, I just don't want to start shit. Like, you do you.
Right.
And but it's, I don't know, like I said, when that probably brings up your point, where it's like, when it's trying to be shoved down your throat, that's where you kind of, like, get thrown out. So with the eldest, I feel like maybe that's how I feel that what he's doing. But I think with what he's doing with conspiracy theories is more damaging, because he's spreading that false information. And honestly, in my opinion, conspiracy theories are way more damaging to humanity than religion is, in a sense. Because you can turn anything into a conspiracy theory, and I'm putting it out there, mark my fucking words, that there's going to be shit that stems from this fucking submarine thing that's going to be, they killed this guy because the government wanted him dead because he knew something about how, like, fucking bunions can be healed with freaking hot ice. I don't know. Like, some stupid shit.
It's so insane.
Yeah, so it's going to be some crap like that, and, you know, I'm just waiting for it to happen. And, you know, since my brain already, like, has to automatically goes into defense mode, it's like I'm already preparing for this. And so basically, let's put it this way. If somebody goes, oh, you know, the government wanted him dead, this and that, blah, blah, don't die. Because he knew this, blah, 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 blah. It's like, let me explain this to you. You, as an average person who doesn't know anything about that subject, if you were on that submarine and, you know, 5 of your buddies from school, do you think they would have sent the fucking U.S. Coast Guard to find you? No. Because that guy had fucking money. That's why they went looking for him. That's my opinion. Because honestly, like, how many times does, like, some shit happen to some poor people? Nobody gives a shit. Who cares? But
that's what this is all started coming up for people. It's like, this is some rich people's shit and y'all entertaining it, and it's like, what the fuck, bro?
I mean, it is entertaining to me because I'm like, I mean, it's just, it's like any movie. There's a like something crazy happening, and, you know, I was just like, oh, this is just entertainment to me. That's why they're like, oh, it imploded, and I just didn't feel bad. I was like, whatever. They knew the risks.
Interesting. Oh no.
Yeah, so it's stuff like that. And so, but I'm saying, well, like, with conspiracy theories, it's like they're so good at just causing chaos. There's no benefit behind it at all. What does it do?
Yeah.
With a conspiracy theorist, even if, let's say they get something right, the conspiracy theory, they say this is happening because of this, and let's say, I mean, there's been a few times I think conspiracy theorists have been proven right on whatever topic. After they're proven right, what changed? Nothing. It's like there's no fucking benefit that comes from it. Yeah, nothing fucking changes. So it's like you guys are just causing panic, fear, and misinformation on like 99% of your shit that is just causing more problems than good. It's like, let's say some shit turns out like aliens are real, they have been here. Like, what the fuck? Who gives a shit? Let's say people knew about it this whole time. How is that going to change anything? What do you think would have been different if we knew that aliens were here the whole fucking time? Nothing. You'd just be like, oh, they're here. Okay, cool. Now they're just people.
Yeah.
So I think that's one thing that irritates the shit about, like, conspiracy theories. It's just like, you're causing problems for no fucking reason. Even if they're true, who gives a shit? Like with the eldest and his whole fucking Walmart fucking child shopping ground fucking thing where everybody says this. Goddamn, I fell so far.
I know, me too.
You know, it's like, oh, you know what he's saying, like, oh, Walmart's just a shopping ground for pedophiles or some crap, whatever the fuck it is. I'm like, okay.
But how many, like, children have you saved?
Yeah, like, what do you, like, how is you just saying about it? It's like, you're not making a change. Like, because no one's listening to you, because you're a fucking crackpot. Like, you're doing yourself more disservice by just spewing information with no evidence. So it's, honestly, even if it is true, your nonsense I'm dead. Somebody fucking killed me. So your nonsense spewing without evidence is making you look worse. Until you have definitive fucking proof, keep your fucking mouth shut. You got this. Take your time. Jump on one at a time, not two.
I'm trying to fucking thin out the herd, though. Oh, fuck. Ah. Not if I tried. What time is it? Oh, okay.
We still got some time.
Okay, but I'm still gonna go pick up something from a place near me at a set time, so just FYI.
Well, we got about 15 minutes.
And oh, perfect. That'll be perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay, so if you want to break this down, let's just go back to the whole thing about it's like I don't want to be around that person because of those things.
Uh-huh.
Like, are my valid or okay? Well, I know how you're going to respond to that. I was going to say, are my feelings valid? And you'll be like, yes, you're feeling something, so they are valid. Okay, got it. But why does this trigger me? So why is it that basically ignorance being spread bother me to such a point?
Okay.
Because I feel like I'm doing my part just by disassociating from it. It's like, I don't want to be near it. So to protect myself, just fucking don't go over there, you know? It's like, ow, you know? It hurts when I hit my fucking leg with a hammer. Well, stop hitting your leg with a hammer.
Stop doing it.
Yeah, I mean, so that's essentially what I'm trying to do here by not going over there. It's like, this bothers me, so I just won't go over there.
It also comes from a reflection of like your own pain too, like because your bandwidth to handling the eldest is also thin because you grew up with him.
Mm-hmm.
And then you freaking you have that piece, but also like you have learned that you have to know a lot in order to like be accepted. Me too. And or to protect yourself or keep yourself safe.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the things that I remember being insulted when I was growing up was like if I made mistakes. And so how do I compensate? I learned more. But the thing is, that's what I'm trying to emphasize to you is that like your trauma is like you had to know a lot and you had to like heal from like the judgment that you experience, and like this is how you respond to it, right?
Okay.
But his trauma is that he had to like be a parental and he had to like sacrifice certain pieces of self in order to like make things happen for some folks, and like in that parental role. So he didn't have to excel more in like the educational piece of it all because he was wrapped up in like being parentified as a fucking child, you know? So
Okay.
I literally kind of just see it as like ultimately he's just over there and he's like one guy. And when I hear and what's helped me is like how he talks to Artemis, because it's like he actually has a lot more things aligned like with my beliefs, and I allow myself to believe because I never have the patience to hear more than so much. But I feel like he's used to that where he doesn't have to to expand on his points, but Artemis makes him do that. And because of that, I can hear we actually have a lot more aligned in thought than I once thought. And so that's helped me challenge my beliefs. But here's the thing that sucks. I still don't have the threshold to handle it.
Mm-hmm.
But since Artemis does, I just listen. And now I've learned when I can put my piece in and be heard. And I know that I'm being heard and considered. And I also know the extent of when to like then back out, and to which then Artemis will jump in and be like, okay, I'm about this conversation again.
Okay, so
And
Artemis basically is Artemis is like a fishing pole. He's gonna wear down the fish before you put in your effort.
correct. But that's what I'm saying. That's one of the fucking qualities about Artemis that I love, because he's so patient. Like, it is so fucking refreshing to me. And that's why when people like give me, they're like, oh, blah blah about like why Artemis? I'm like, because he has something a lot of the world doesn't have, and that's fucking patience.
I don't have
And I don't know
patience.
why, but that quality is so particularly attractive to me.
Yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense. And I mean, honestly, when I'm like, this can kind of go back to my dating thing. I'm looking for somebody that can be patient because I'm going to be, you know, I'm.
Me too.
Because basically, it's like I'm sitting there. I'm gonna do my thing, and I'm gonna fucking go off and ramp on it or whatever the hell it is, like rage or just go off on my own tangents about stupid shit, whatever it is. You know, silly jokes. It's like I need people to. I need someone that's like, hey, just be patient. He's gonna go off on this tangent for a bit, but he'll be back. Like, but someone that can see that.
I think it also helped just me finding out and learning that I have ADHD.
Yes. I should probably put that on my dating profile. Like, I have ADHD. Please be patient.
Because, and it's also another thing that sucks is that the eldest doesn't believe like ADHD exists.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to tell you all this, but it fucking does.
Yeah.
It's almost as if it's been researched since like 1918. If
First
I'm not
place
mistaken.
again. Sorry. Go ahead.
Since like 1918, I think, was like the first noted case of what is the closest thing of identified ADHD. And for any of the folks in the audience that's like, oh, but it's ADD, but ADD was retired in the 80s. It's ADHD because it's broken down to attention deficit and or attention deficit and or hyperactivity disorder or hyperactive disorder. Yeah. So that means that you could have inattention, you could be hyperactive, or you could be combined presentation. So everyone's got ADHD that has it. Please go get properly diagnosed.
Which I need to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Is there anything else you want to add to that subject? Because if not, I got another thing to kind of like possibly polish off the last few minutes.
Yeah, please. Like, whatever you want to, like, wrap up our discussion tonight about.
Okay, well, this is a completely different thing.
I want to get off.
This
I
is
want to be here.
probably drug use and mental health. I get, well, obviously it's all mental health. But, so this morning, this was more entertaining to me. Man, I started on the wrong side for sure.
I don't like the side I joined at all, and I'm sad and confused.
The what? Ah!
I'm back.
Oh, yes, the safety space.
Hello.
I like how we both gravitate to the same fucking wall every time.
I was like, I literally was on the other clear side of the fucking map.
Yeah, so was I.
Not happy.
Whoop.
Oh no!
Bye. I saw that happen. But so this morning I'm leaving the gym, and then so you know, not the street I live on, but like the main street, right? Mm-hmm. So where the gym is to that main street, it's probably, I don't know, like 200 yards. Uh-huh. So I'm leaving the gym this morning, and so I pull out of the driveway of the gym. I'm heading back over to that main street. So a 200-yard drive before I turn down that street to head like towards my house. And as I pull out of the driveway, I look, and in the opposite lanes of travel, there's a man on a bicycle just riding in circles in the middle of the road. And I go, huh, that's interesting. Give it, there's a lot of homeless people around here, a lot of people on drugs. And then I travel probably another, I don't know, 40 yards, and I look on the right on the sidewalk. There's a lady pushing a wagon, then it's not steering properly because it's supposed to be pulled, and she's just yelling at it. And then I go like, I don't know, another 50 yards, and I pull up to the stoplight. I'm the first car in line at the stoplight waiting to make a left turn. And so I look to my right, there's a person on the corner. Then I look to my left, there's a person on the other corner. And so the person on the right is a female, and she's standing there looking haggard as shit.
You played the whole fucking game standing in one spot.
Yes, that's how I work. Whoop. All right, that spot's always safe. So that lower area near the other wall, not safe.
Yeah.
It has to be that upper wall that I was standing at. But so look at this lady. I'm just kind of like eyeballing her as I'm sitting in my truck, and I look over and she's sitting there like scratching her freaking fupa pussy area, and then smelling it. And I'm just like, ugh, like that's fucking gross. And she just keeps like scratching, then sniff. Scratch, then sniff. I was like, that is fucking disgusting. What is happening within the last 200 yards? There's someone doing a fucking pirouette on a bicycle. There's somebody else pushing a wagon the wrong way. And now this person's just freaking scratching their crotch, talking to themselves, and then smelling it. And then, so the light turns green for the crosswalk, not myself. So they're crossing, you know, in front of my truck. So the lady starts walking, the one that was smelling her crotch. She starts walking. She gets all the way across to the other side. And then the other guy that was standing over there decides now's the time to go. You know, he's walking in the, like, you know, just the opposite direction as the lady, just crossing the same street. And this person, I don't know why he waited so long to finally go. He was staring right at the light. It's not like he was looking around. I was keeping an eye on him. And he was wearing what I can only describe was a Ziploc sandwich baggie over his face that was taped to his head. I was like, I have traveled 200 yards. What the fuck is happening around here? And I'm just like, what? Like, in the amazing part of it is, this all takes place, I don't know, a block and a half from the fucking jail and sheriff station? And these people are just out and about. I'm just like, I was just so confused. I'm honestly, I'm laughing my ass off because this is entertainment I have not seen in a long time. Because it was like watching a bunch of freaking kindergartners trying to put on a fucking Cirque du Soleil performance. And so they're like, here's the wardrobe and here's some stuff, go to town. So one's just flipping out, going in a circle on a bicycle. The other one's pushing a fucking wagon and getting all mad. The other one's scratching a freaking puss and smelling it. And the other one's got a bag on his face. I'm just like... So what do you think was happening?
I'm pretty sure it's fucking it's a lot of fucking issues with our system full effect, and you had an interesting fucking morning.
Oh man, that really set the tone for the day. That's all I can say about that. And I was just like, man, there's a lot that's happened in the last 45 seconds. I don't know how to go about doing this.
Things.
I've seen some things. I don't recommend it.
Have you seen a thing? If
you
or a loved one have saw a thing,
please contact your local
didgeridoo player.
Didgeridoo player and attorney at law, because shit happens. So get paid for it. Oh no, I fell off. I was being too greedy. Oh, no, that was a dumb move. I can make the dive.
You flew too far to the sun, or too close to the sun.
I was straight up like Icarus. Was it Icarus?
Yeah, it's Icarus. But man, I think it's time for a nice old class and rewatch of Fullmetal Alchemist. Have you watched Fullmetal Alchemist?
I watched part of it, and from what I did see, it was entertaining.
It was entertaining?
Yes.
We should watch it. We should watch it and discuss it. We should watch it and discuss the psychology of it. I just got
a female boner.
I did.
Oh no, we didn't qualify. Alright, one more round.
Okay. Only one more though.
One more. And then we'll be done, Zoo. I'm surprised Chad has not been like popping in like that the last couple weeks.
It's ever since Eggy didn't show up.
I know.
I didn't reach out to some folks this time. Oopsie doopsie.
I think she's been gone for coming up to 3 weeks, so she'll be gone next week. I think she's coming back the next week. or the week after.
Yay!
I know, I'm feeling the same way. I miss that lady. She's fun.
Oh.
And honestly, I have not been in contact with her at all, except when we were talking. Like, I asked her if she passed our class. But that's it. I won't message her on Discord because I know that her boyfriend despises me.
Dude, I just saw something and I think you would enjoy it, and I'm and it's kind of maybe too soon, but that hasn't stopped me yet. So fucking people are making memes about the submarine situation because that's how we process now.
I've seen that shit nonstop.
And someone fucking put fucking from Futurama, fucking Dr. Farnsworth, when he's like, what happened to shreds, you say?
That's awesome.
That's fucking. And so someone said the moment I logged into twitter.com, spelled out dot. To shred, you say? Good news, everyone.
So I was watching TechSmith this morning, and the news came out, and I was actually watching the live broadcast of it as they were saying, hey, this is what we found, they're dead. So I watched that, and I was like, oh man, I want to tell everybody in chat, but I don't want to, like, this is supposed to be a happy place, I want to release the bad news. So I didn't say anything. Because, like, when Queen Elizabeth died, like, someone kind of got railed about talking about it. They're like, hey, let's not bring that up. I know a lot of people have, like, feelings about this. You know, let's just try to have a good time, yada, yada. So I was like, I'm just not going to bring it up. So, Tex, he ended up making a joke because, like, they were talking about Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg are apparently going to have a cage match.
Like, what the actual fuck?
And apparently Dana White talked to both of them, and they're both fucking deadly serious. And I was like, hey, I like Elon Musk, but he's not gonna fucking, like, last a moment in there, because apparently Zuckerberg's been training in this shit for a while, and he's pretty good at it. So anyway, so Tech was like, so nobody said anything about the submarine. And so Tech was like, you know what? We can just get both of them and freaking send them down to the Titanic, you know? And everyone's like, ooh, bad timing. He's like, why? What happened? So, and so they explained it. He's like, oh, shit. And then, so on his channel, they have this thing called Tangia. And what it is people can pay, I don't know the prices, but you pay X amount of money, and you can, there's like overlays that come up. You can have like a cat dance on screen, or you can basically use one of those AI voice things where you can type something in, and like Dr. Phil will say it, or, you know, fucking like, God damn it, David Attenborough will say it, or, you know, just whatever character you end up choosing that's available. So somebody put a Dr. Phil, and he turned it down halfway through because he already saw where it was going. He was like, oh, what is a old fleshlight and the freaking Titanic submarine have in common? And he's like, nope. He turned it down, but you can still read what it says on the screen. So, like, they say, is Dr. Phil is like, what does a old fleshlight and the freaking Ocean Gate submarine have in common? They both have a bunch of dead seamen inside.
Oh my god.
And this is like 30 minutes after it came out. I was like, Jesus Christ. And he was like, nope. Everyone's like, ooh, too soon. So I just like messaged the person in chat. I was like, I admire your bravery for putting that out there. And it was one of his moderators. It wasn't even just some random person in the chat. Wow. It was his mods that threw that shit out there. I was like, oh, fucking A. Brave. Very brave.
How very inappropriate. Thank you.
Exactly. I actually got a subscription gifted to me to his channel because I said some shit. Like, every so often I'll get a free gifted sub because I'll say something that'll just, like, crack somebody up so hard that they give me a free sub. Because everybody makes fun of TechSmith's sneeze, because when he sneezes, it's like, I don't know, it's like a fucking explosion going off. It's so damn loud. And everyone's like, Jesus Christ, you blew out my speakers. He's like, oh, it wasn't that bad. Come on, it was just a sneeze. And I was like, I don't know. I think the whole Fallout series was based off that sneeze. And then somebody gifted me that because, you know, it's like a nuke going off.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Ha.
Okay, and then another random topic. This made me, I guess, feel good, but I kind of also was like, man, why can't this happen, like, in a different scenario? But myself and the guy I work out with, we got complimented today at the gym by an older lady. She's like, you guys are working so hard. You're looking good. Like, you guys are always in here. Like, I'm inspired by you guys. And I was like, that's nice. You know, it felt good. And that's not the first time that's happened, but I even told him after like that conversation was over, I was like, see, if a woman my age just made that kind of freaking comment, it would open up a conversation for me to like actually, you know, talk to them, but they never do. It would make me comfortable enough to actually start talking to them, because there's obviously, or not obviously, but there are a few attractive women in the gym. Most of them have rings on their finger. And it's just like, I'm like, even the ones that don't, it's like, I'm not even going to try. Just because, you know, this goes back to like, what's it like dating as a guy? It's like, you can go up and compliment a woman, like, oh, you know, you look good, or you're doing this really well. I see that you're really strong, or whatever. As a man being single in today's day and age, we know that women hear that shit all the time. Non-stop. You guys get like especially attractive women, they get that shit all fucking day. So like, we sit there and look at it like, she's attractive, I'd like to talk to her, but there's literally nothing I'm going to say that's going to be like, have her go, oh my god, like, I'd like to talk to this guy, because we see that as, they've heard it before, why put in the effort? So
that's fair.
Yeah, so most guys like my age and this like generation, women are, I want a guy who'll man up and do this. It's like, but you guys have basically put us in a point where there's no fucking like, why put in the effort? That's like a 99% rejection rate. So why?
Well, that's what I'm trying to say, is that goes back again to the people that you're like allowing yourself to spend time with and entertain and so forth. Because oh my god, I was getting pretty far. Sorry, I was focusing. That, yeah, because when I was dating, it was such a fucking shit time too, with these these shallow ass people that only wanted to have sex, and so I freaking like, I get it, but then I also had to realize like, there's warning signs right off the beginning, and I could just fucking go about my life.
Right. Oh, I think we got it.
Yeah, I think so too. And
yeah.
Okay. And that like, you have to like there's a responsibility factor to some degree, not all of it, but it's like, if you're seeing the signs, you like, the moment that you do, just step away in a different direction, because that shit just exists in the dating world, and they do that and they get loud about it because they've experienced rejection to a point where they have to, you know, be loud.
They have to be what? I'm sorry, you sound like you turned into a fucking cat hawking up a hairball.
You're welcome. I said loud.
Oh.
Like, those types of people, they have to be like trying to get your attention a lot. So it's harder, and you need more patience for the people that like will eventually show up.
Explain.
Because if you just like entertain whoever comes around, right? You don't leave yourself accessible to being available for someone that is aligned for self. Except sometimes the expectations of others can be too, like, it can be quite tight and like very rigid, but which is fine. However, it's like that also leaves you to only a certain amount of people, And when you work on your trauma, it allows you to expand what you're willing to accept
Fucker.
in people and what you're dating or wanting to date, or and like who you're wanting to date and so forth.
I'm still confused. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Let's go back to the beginning. Okay, so I want to talk to said person, but I don't bother in putting the effort because they've, like, I'm almost guaranteed they've heard this thing a million fucking times.
So say it anyway, of like whatever you want to say authentically. Like if they like it, they'll lean into it. And if they don't, then there you go. You don't have to waste your time with just nonsense.
Okay, that's easily understandable in that sense. But also, when it comes to being rejected, and especially in like certain situations, let's say, I'm just going to use the gym as an example. Like, first off, rejection hurts. And once it happens so many goddamn times, you don't want to do it anymore because, you know.
So I'm going to pause real quick.
Okay.
Because yes, rejection hurts. However, when you continue to work more on yourself and developing your self-esteem in regards to like the trauma that's impeding your true like connection to like trusting that how you see yourself is how other people will see you, you will still continue to attract people that appease your trauma consciously or subconsciously. And ultimately, all you're going to do is still feel pain and not get a chance to, oh my God, I fucking slid. And fucking, you're just going to keep on finding broken ass people. Like, that's why I recognize that not everyone can have access to therapy. It's a privilege, and I know that.
That's why we're here now.
And that's why this is how I try to help how I can, to the extent of where it also doesn't like risk resentment. Sorry, I needed water. Water's here's a quick therapy tip real quick. If you're anxious, drink water, because when you drink water, it cools down your system and it forces you to engage in breathing exercises. You're welcome.
No! I somehow kind of got half glitched and screwed over at the same time.
But you have to work on your trauma. Like, you need to cry about the things that you didn't fucking cry about when you're 4 years old. Like, and if you don't, that's fine. That's your choice and so forth. But you are still experiencing the pain that you're attempting to avoid. You're just doing it in a way that isn't so much in your face or feels like it hurts so much, but it's actually faster and more effective, and you get more of your life to yourself. So I don't know, girly pop, make your choice.
Okay, so we'll have to work on that next time, but then I'm just going to bring up the other part real quick before we end. Basically, when you do something, like I said, if it was the gym scenario and I talked to somebody over there and like try to make it a move and ask them out or whatever, basically if you get rejected there, now you have a situation where it's going to go two ways. One, you're going to have to deal with this awkward situation from now on, which is going to make me and them uncomfortable. Or two, based on how today's society works, a woman can complain to management that I approached them with all good intentions and said, like, I find you attractive or whatever, blah 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 blah, that it can get me removed from the gym because a different customer who's a woman was uncomfortable.
Here's a question. Not because I'm not trying to reject the experience of being a man in a very real feeling of all that. I just has that happened to you?
I have gotten in trouble before in my past for telling a woman that I liked her and thought she was attractive. It was a long time ago, and it was in school, and I did get suspended for making a comment.
What year was that?
I don't know. It was still pretty damn young.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to emphasize, is that sounds like different times again. And like the thing is that it's more of a systemic problem, and it's that like you can still try and you can be about it like appropriate and so forth, but it's like if it's getting out of hand, it's like also a matter of checking in. It's like, what about this approach? What's going on? But I'm not also trying to shame you or feel like it's your fault. It's that this is a system issue that other people that look like you, very generalized manners, have like ruined it for you. Ergo, why there's people in this world that think like oh, men suck. And I'm not saying it, I agree. I'm saying that that is a very real thing because of like so many people making a name of a type of person, and ultimately we think in a pack mentality, so it pushes the envelope of this is dangerous, don't do.
Right.
And so that's why there's people that are like male presenting people that are feminists, because they're like they see that and they're like, I understand and I want to change that. And does that mean they may have to hold a really uncomfortable feeling of like, you know, people doing or like judging them? Yeah, and it really sucks. And that's what sucks so much about like, and I recognize like that men have to experience.
Mm-hmm.
But however, it's like it's not an individual problem. You can still try your best and maybe you will succeed, but dictating your decision making on a fear base of like something happened at an outdated time, like it's just going to keep reinforcing that trauma within you, and it's going to leave you limited, aka it's trauma. Bam, this is what I get paid, how I get paid.
All right, well, I think we'll wrap it up there then.
Okay.
Since you gotta go, I mean, I still got time, but I mean, you gotta go.
Yeah.
So, thank you everybody for hanging out. Thank you, Asteria, for hanging out. Very much appreciated. Anybody who is watching or was watching or still watching, again, this is Therapy Thursday. Every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, we do this where we talk about mental health stuff. I recommend you recommend it to your friends. Bring more people around. Be great. And then again, next week, if you have any questions or anything that you come up with, write it down and bring it into chat so we can discuss it, because it does two things. One, hopefully it helps you, and two, hopefully it'll make our discussions a little bit easier. Sometimes we just kind of blank. Today we were running pretty good, so we were able to just kind of like chain off of shit, so that was nice. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you very much for hanging up. Thank you, Asteria.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
Okay, and so yeah, if you guys want to watch this episode again, it should be up immediately on Twitch, and it should be there for the next 7 days, I think, before they take it down. And after that, you can catch it on my YouTube. There's a link in the description below. You can see it in the bottom right hand corner of your screen. Kilted_pork on YouTube. And for those of you watching on YouTube, check the link in the description below the video. Go to twitch.tv/kilted_pork. Give us a follow. Sign up for a Twitch account. It's free, and bring your mental health questions here so we can talk about it next time. So we'll see you guys later. Have a wonderful weekend. Goodbye, Asteria. And I think she's already muted. Okay, goodbye.